Beneath the surface of the world's oceans, many secrets are buried. Secrets that have sunk into the depths of the sea, and none are as mysterious as the most terrifying sea voyages in history. Between the years 1887 and 1893, the U.S. military reported that 1,628 ghost ships were sighted at sea, which means about 19 phantom ships per month. Yes, I'm talking exactly about ships that actually exist but have no crew on board. So, together, let's delve into the fascinating stories of a few ghost ships. Today, we want to talk about 3 ghost ships that, although they didn't sink, their crews disappeared without any clear reason. The first story is about the MV Joita ship. In the fall of 1955, at 5 a.m., a small cargo ship called the MV Joita, carrying 25 passengers and 16 crew members, including the captain, first mate, chief engineer, sailor, oiler, cook, and several cargo handlers, set off from Apia, the capital of Samoa, a small country in the Pacific Ocean, heading toward an island called Tokelau. The route was 430 kilometers or 270 miles and usually took 2 days to complete. But the Joita never reached its destination. It disappeared in the South Pacific Ocean. 5 weeks later, someone spotted the ship about 970 kilometers away from its intended destination, with not a single person on board. No passengers, no crew. Just an empty ship with bloody bandages, half-eaten food, and a hull that was still afloat. The strange thing was that this ship was designed so that it couldn't sink. So if anyone had stayed inside, they should have been alive, or at least their bodies should have been there. So what happened? Where did they go? There are many theories. Some say maybe this ship got into a fight with Japanese ships, or maybe even pirates attacked them. Others believe that the radio equipment was broken and the crew thought they were going to sink, so they abandoned the ship. And of course, there are always those who say that something supernatural was behind the incident, but no evidence was ever found, and the Joita remains a mystery to this day. Now let's move on to the second ship, called the SS Bai Chimo. Here we are in the frozen lands of Alaska, and it's the year 1931. A group of Eskimos spotted an abandoned ship in the middle of the night, stuck in the ice off Alaska's northern coast. The ship was called S Beachy Hair. When they boarded it, a fierce storm suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and they were forced to take shelter inside the belly of this iron monster for 10 days. After that, this ship was seen many times in the northern waters, but always without a crew and without anyone on board. Like a ghost ship that knows its own way. It was last seen in 1969, but still, no one knows what really happened to it or where it went. Bai Chimo was a steamship built in Sweden in 1914. At first it belonged to the Germans, but after World War I, it ended up with the British, and eventually the Hudson's Bay Company of Canada used it for the fur trade in Siberia. There are various theories about this ship. One theory says that the polar ice kept it afloat. Some people say maybe someone was secretly steering it. Others believe that the ship seems to have a spirit of its own and can guide itself through it. But now let's move on to the third ship, which is called the Mary Celeste. On December 5th, 1872, the Mary Celeste was spotted adrift in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, near the Azores Islands close to Portugal, a place far from any land. There was no one on its deck. The plates, knives, and forks had been washed. The sailors' pipes were ready to be smoked. The cargo hold was locked, and $80,000 worth of untouched alcohol remained inside 1,701 barrels. Of course, there were also rumors that when the ship was found, bacon, eggs, and coffee were still warm on the kitchen table. The Mary Celeste was an American cargo ship that, 8 days earlier, had set sail from Pier 50 in New York Harbor toward Genoa, Italy, with 7 crew members: Captain Benjamin Briggs, age 37, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. But now, it was empty. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no lifeboat. Everything was in its place. Even breakfast was still left on the table. Stranger still, everything seemed perfectly fine. The cargo of industrial alcohol was intact, yet there was no clue as to where the people had gone. To this day, no one knows what happened. Some say that poisoning from alcohol fumes caused sudden panic and escape. That is, maybe alcohol vapor filled the storage and the crew opened the doors for ventilation. But when they saw it wasn't helping, they temporarily boarded the lifeboat. But after that, the wind carried their boat away from the ship, leaving the Mary Celeste empty, and the crew was never rescued. On the other hand, some say that mutiny was the cause of the people's disappearance. Others suspect pirates. Meanwhile, some people have said that maybe an iceberg was in their path and the crew fled out of fear. But it's not really that cold in that area. On the other hand, others say that maybe a giant octopus pulled the crew off the deck and dragged them underwater. There are even theories about the supernatural, aliens, or ships lost in other dimensions. An interesting point about this ship is that the famous writer Arthur Conan Doyle, creator of Sherlock Holmes, later wrote a fictional story in which an American doctor boards the Mary Celeste, and strange events involving a curse and a magic stone begin to unfold. That very story caused the legend of the Mary Celeste to be forever intertwined with magic, death, and mystery. Many people said the Mary Celeste was cursed. That's why, in the end, the Mary Celeste was deliberately run aground on the rocks of Haiti to be sunk. The waves tore her to pieces, and after a few years, only a faint memory of her remained. And in this way, this legendary ship also became a maritime mystery forever. But in the end, what is the secret of these drifting ships? Some scientists say that wind and water currents can cause empty ships to move, especially if their design is suitable. But there are also theories that say these were secret military experiments or even incidents related to the Bermuda Triangle. Some people have even brought aliens or interdimensional phenomena into the discussion. In my opinion, the disappearance of some of these ships might actually have logical explanations. System failures, human fear, mistakes in decision-making, all of these could have played a role in these incidents. But for example, in the case of the Mary Celeste or the Bai Chimo, these ships truly blur the line between reality and fantasy, and you just can't find any logical explanation for them. What do you think? Do you believe there was really something supernatural involved in these stories or not? Also, leave a comment and tell us which of these 3 ships you think was the most mysterious. The ships we've talked about aren't just pieces of metal abandoned in the seas, out there, lingering. Each one of them symbolizes an unanswered question. In other words, they remind us that there are still mysteries in our world that science cannot explain. But maybe sometimes it's better to leave some mysteries hidden just as they are.